I truly wish that young people knew that they are not children at 18 years old. I truly wish that the younger generation embrace growth as early as possible. There's a reason a lot of people start balding in their 20s. You're 30 and you want to stand up from your chair, you have to use your hand. Right? You're 38 and when you get up in the morning, you are hearing some creaking sounds in your back. I'm not saying please, nobody should get me wrong. Go to school, right? Or value education more than the paper you're going to get at the end of the day. I would say that everybody who posts on the internet is a content creator. Yeah, true. Started being intentional about growing my audience in 2012. That was on Twitter. I started posting obviously with text, influencing on BlackBerry Messenger. I was earning at least $1,000 a month at the very least. And I was fully in school. My Twitter account was hacked. Lost that one at about 44K. Obviously BBM shut down. Sometimes life teaches you a lesson and you think you're done learning and it shows you that lesson version 2. There's always an upgrade, right? So out in the cold, nothing, beginning life, starting, life afresh, in quote, at least on that side of my...
Yeah, and then, 64K was 44K then.
Come on, yeah. I was doing, some of the people I was growing with, but one of them is Africa Fact Zone, or Isima, right? We grew our pages together. We grew our BlackBerry Messenger channels together. These are the people that, we used to do shout out, growing mutually. He's over 1 million now on so if to say I know Loose Guard, because I lose that page to that hack based on my Loose Guard. Oh, right. I think you should be smarter than clicking random links. That's
what you did.
It's an influencer.
Hello, everybody. Once again, welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneurs Connect show. As always, you know how we do it here. We interview African entrepreneurs across board in different niches to learn about their journey, their successes, their failures, and the lessons they've learned in between. And today, we have an amazing person in the house. If I tell you what we went through to make this happen, but thank God we were able to squeeze him, and he's finally here. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, let us make welcome Eric Gugua.
Great to be here. Thank you so much for having me, sir.
Thank you for coming. If you said no,
how can I say, I've seen the orgasm that you've managed to bring on your show now. It's a privilege to be here. It's a real privilege to be here. Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much. Just so we jump straight into it because we don't have plenty of time like that. The first question I'd like to ask is to kind of meet Eric. Who is Eric? How did you grow up? Where did you go to school? Just brief overview.
Okay. I still meet Eric. I still meet Eric. If you ask who is Eric, where is Eric coming from, I would say I was born in Enugu State.
Anyways, I'm from Enugu myself. So.
Okay. I was born in Enugu, lived the time, even though my family were living in Abakaliki at the time, but for some reason, every time it was time to bring life into the world, my mom would come to Enugu. Oh, I think Guga. So I think it was a thing I think my dad trusted a doctor here or something. He's a doctor himself. The whole doctors and family thing. I don't know. So we were all born in Enugu. Myself and my two brothers moved to Enugu fully after a couple of years. So I think I was about 5 or 4 when we moved to Enugu. Lived, went to primary school there, secondary school, tertiary school in Awomama, Imo State. My university was still in Enugu, Esud. So that's pretty much what it's been like. I did my master's abroad, majored in blockchain tech with a particular major, what I call it. My thesis was on accelerating blockchain product adoption in West African countries, whole research and all that. And I have worked with a couple of startup companies in that space, consulted for a little more than a few. And now we're just doing content. We're just doing content because it feels like the phase we're in right now.
Obviously, you've done a lot. Blockchain. There's also the part of filmmaking.
Okay.
Now you're an author. You're content full time.
Yeah.
And all of that. So when did you realize that this thing I'm doing right now is what I'm meant to do?
I've still not realized it. That's the thing though. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? But if you want to live a full life, you want your life to be full, then you are constantly going to have to be open to evolution, to be open to changes, to be open to adapting, to be open to new lines, right? Without that, I don't want the rigidity that comes with settlement, right? So when an African elder asks you, my son, when are you going to settle down? You know, that kind of thing. Beyond just, you know, the marrying and all that, there's a mindset of you found where you should be, so cake, right? Crystallize, be that, you know. I don't think that's how I want to do life. I want to be able to pass through, you know, do this journey and come to a point where I'm about to leave and my life is empty. Like, I really want to pour out the life. So 5 years ago, I wouldn't think I'll be doing content as much as I'm doing it right now. 5 years ago, I wouldn't think that I would have it. I didn't ever think, when I was done with school in Esut, the kind of shege that I experienced in that school.
So never again.
I said, I'm done with reading, right? I'm done with academics. Tell me that in 5 years, I would have I would go back and get a master's degree years after graduating, right? And even be considering doing a doctorate. Yeah, but I'm open to that. You know, I am open to being open, being objective, gaining new perspectives. So I don't know that this is what I want to do with my life, but I live on the code that whatsoever your hands find to do it with all your might. Do it as if you're doing it unto the Lord. That's how I live. So if that's what I'm doing right now in this phase, I'm going to be excellent at it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it all my strength, all my might. And when I pivot again, which I most definitely will, with the way my life is going, I will still be very great at that. I believe.
I find it so interesting because my life is kind of like that right now. It's really difficult to define me. So when people ask me, what do you do?
Yeah. FS. That's a very deep question. That's an interesting question. I'm so happy you didn't start this podcast like that. So tell us, what do you do? When you said, give me an overview, right? I was thinking, please don't ask me what I do. And then you said, what's your story being like? What's your background? Because what do I do? It's plenty and I do it a lot.
Split. So, but what is one lesson life has taught you that you wish you could pass down to the coming generation?
At this point, I'm learning because sometimes you think, and I'm not trying to be deep. I'm really not trying to be deep, but sometimes life teaches you a lesson and you think you're done learning and it shows you that lesson version 2. There's always an upgrade because they're always bugs in the code, right? So you didn't learn this thing well. Let's show you another part of it. So I can't say that I've fully learned everything. I'm passing my knowledge on as they come. But when it comes to what do I really wish that people knew about doing life, younger people knew, I truly wish that they knew the value of education. I valued it more than a school system. That's one. Number 2, I truly wish that young people knew that they are not children at 18 years old. I truly wish that the younger generation embrace growth as early as possible. There's a reason a lot of people start balding in their 20s. And I wish people talked about this more. And then at 20, at 25, at 30, at 35, there's a group of Nigerians, Africans, who think that they are young people. Yes, you're young, but if you consider the fact that the peak human physical condition is in your teenagers and your early 20s, and everything is pretty much downhill from there.
Yeah.
Like pretty much, you're 30 and you want to stand up from your chair, you have to use your hand. Right? Yeah. You're 38 and when you get up in the morning, you are hearing some creaking sounds in your back. Especially if you're not giving to a life, in the gym and all that. When you think about that on a physical level, and you do a bit of research and find out that your smartest and your cognitive abilities are most, working, functional, most active in your teenagers, 16, 17, 18, I'm wondering, why are people not starting life when they are supposed to be starting university? I'm not saying please, nobody should get me wrong. Go to school, right? Or value education more than the paper you're going to get at the end of the day. If people start off charting their life courses after they are done with fundamental school, there's a reason it's called primary school. There's a reason for that word. When you're done with that, you are smart enough to start to ask questions about what you want to do. If somebody is intentional in training their kids, there is no reason why at 14, 15, you don't have an idea of what you're passionate about. It's absolutely no reason. And there's no reason for you to not be pursuing that. When I was in school, 200 level, I was earning from influencing on BlackBerry Messenger or something like that. I was earning at least $1,000 a month, at the very least. And I was fully in school. But this was something I was giving my side energy, my side hustle energy. I was giving a side hustle energy. And I was very easily earning more money than some of my lecturers, right? Who will come in grumpy because they have money problems and their wife is beefing them because of one thing or the other. And I'm not talking down on anybody, absolutely. My mom's a lecturer. And I'm a teacher as well, right? So I do love that. But I really wish that people knew, especially the black child. I wish that the black child knew that life begins not after you have finished NYSC. And that's where people get very frustrated.
Don't you think that's why we are behind?
I think so.
As a people. Because our counterparts in the Western world usually would start life early. In fact, as a culture, at 18,
you're 22, this is not only us.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm not saying marriage is part of starting life. I'm not saying it's I'm just saying the mind
responsibility.
Yeah,
of that.
Somebody's at 18, somebody's picking up a job, no matter how comfortable they are in their family. People learn the value of these things a lot more. And at 30, somebody can be a professor in school. Somebody can be teaching classes.
30, somebody passing their father's house.
And at 30, somebody is, and it's not just, there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's something inherently wrong with being at home at 30. I don't think it's inherently wrong, but it's the mindset that kept you at home.
Yeah.
Right? At 30, somebody is thinking. At 25, a full-grown man is thinking that this is fine. This is okay. Right? A full-grown man is not yet equipped. So, my counsel would be, if that's you, right? If that's you, it's never too late to educate yourself.
Yeah.
Right? It's never too late to find your part. It happens here. Change the mind, change the man. It's a real thing. The scriptures will say, as a man thinketh, so is he. It's a real thing. So change the mind, change the man. Understand the reality of our world. Our reality in Africa with all of our economic challenges means that a lot of people will have to be startup founders. A lot of people will have to be entrepreneurs. A lot of people will have to be employers of labor, as opposed to the former generation where people were studying to be employed.
Yeah.
So if you know that your reality, the dynamics of your reality is different now, let me ask you a question. Why are you then living your life as if you are living in the days of your parents, when people were going to school with employment waiting for them if nearly they finish that? That's not your real. Kid yourself.
Exactly.
I don't have this. No, but it's too early to say.
Talking about entrepreneurship, has Eric done business before?
Eric has tried to do business before. Eric failed very woefully. So now most of my businesses I conduct virtually, right? All of my establishments are virtually. Organizations that I run are virtual organizations. Things that people would ordinarily think can be done there. Yeah, everything can be done online. But obviously there's still the need for people to, I would encourage more people to get into, in on-site physical businesses. It's a tough world. But I know that it takes the same mentality, the same level of discipline to build anything anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
It takes the same measure of consistency and investment to build anything anywhere. Even building something as intangible as a relationship, right? It takes work. It takes work. So Eric has tried to do business before a couple of times. I tried to join my mother's. I don't come from a business family. My brother texted me we're trying to start something down in the east, himself and myself, and we have to remind ourselves that we don't come from a business family. right? But at least we have failed a couple of times, and we're not the kind of people to say because we failed, it's not for us. So we want to give it another go. But in the past, we've done things. My mom at some point wanted to start a rental business, right? We bought a truck, bought canopies, bought things like that. But I say the best way to drive the truck, sell up, run. It'd be like, I don't remember how the story went, but somebody sold that truck and told us that government impounded it. It was just a funny story, and it ended. Because for me, I believe with the small knowledge I have about my failure as a business, I believe that I think that you should not be an executive in areas you have not interned, right? I believe that if you don't have hands-on experience, why are you starting it? Because people say it's profitable. So I have tried to open some other, at some point, it's 2021, I'll be 2020, I opened up a gaming hub somewhere. I ran it for like a year, and after a year I realized I was using my money to fund it. It wasn't funding itself, with day-to-day expenditures. That one shut down. So I've tried my hands at business a couple of times, didn't work out. I'm sticking to what I know, while also looking forward to what I learn from the next step into that area.
Nice. So from your contents, I've seen that your faith plays a very, very strong role in your life. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you shared the story yesterday as well in your event.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask, for very ambitious people, right? How do you tie the two of them? How do you balance faith and ambition?
I think that faith and ambition are not even, I don't think they're mutually exclusive, right? Faith is, by design of faith, it's supposed to be the lens through which you view everything. Faith defines what your disposition should be towards every single subject in your life. What you allow, what you don't allow, what you do. So, I think that God created us to be quite ambitious. I would think so. The reason I would think so is that asking people to go into the world and multiply is a high task, right? Even asking people to go into the world and make disciples of all men is a high task. It's a high calling, and that's quite ambitious, because it's not, to the normal person, it's not attainable. You've not gotten your brother to listen to you. You want to get strangers to hear what you've got to say. It's quite something, and it takes a lot of building of the man for the man to build anything. So when I say I have not done business, I am talking about the fact that I have not done physical business, right? Or, how we would naturally, I don't have a shop somewhere, but that doesn't mean that I've not done business, right? So you mentioned that I'm an author now. We're out here selling books, right? You have to have GTM strategies. You have to know what measures to. It costs time, and it costs a lot of money. And when you are investing money and investing time, and you have profits in return, entrepreneurship, my brother, you get. So it's like, what does it take to be that ambitious? It takes a lot of faith in business to be ambitious, and your faith easily dictates. I think that the role that faith has to play in ambition is that faith dictates what you can do with your ambition.
Yeah.
Because ambition usually can make people desperate, and desperate people dabble into things they're not supposed to do. For me, I see my ambition through the lens of my faith, and my faith says you cannot believe 50 cents.
Yeah.
And then when we were growing up, 50 cents used to say, get rich or die trying. It can't be my mantra. It can't be money or nothing. I must approach my ambition through the lens of a man's life does not consist of the abundance of things that he possesses, right? I must have these. So my faith defines my perspective, and that perspective informs my ambition. Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I throw somebody under the bus just for selfish gains, right? Am I displease everybody? I don't mind displeasing everybody if it aligns with my faith, but am I cause everybody to fail if that will mean my success kind of person? My faith defines that, and if it means I'm not going to end up being a multi-billionaire, I'm fine with that, because my life never really consisted of the things that I possessed. So my faith defines the boundaries for my ambition. Ambition that is boundless. Ambition without constrictions, without restrictions. I think it's dicey waters. I think that's the reason we are where we are as a country. Ambition without boundaries.
Yes. True. That's just before we go into the content.
Yeah.
I want to know what inspired you to go and do your master's in blockchain?
So I'm fascinated by the idea of the tech. I'm fully fascinated by it. And I had been a crypto person. I've been doing crypto things, trading, investing since like 2015, end of 2015. But crypto didn't make sense. When you think about it fundamentally, it didn't make sense to me, right? What I mean by it didn't make sense is, how is this thing so fascinating? Why are people so interested in this thing? Why does this thing seem to gain as much traction as it does? Why does it have so many haters, right? And then the people who believe in it with all of their might and their strength. What do they believe in? So even though it was amazing, I love the idea of it. I love the idea of profits. I mean, trading cryptocurrencies or investing in cryptocurrencies. I wanted to know more about the tech that powered it. I wanted to know why this works, why is it called crypto in the first, I mean, I know it's a currency, but why is it cryptic, right? So I wanted to learn more about the underlying technology. So when I do talk to people about it, I am talking as someone who is very learned in the space, who knows, not just about, I feel like money is very surface level. Money is so transient, right? It's not something that you can base your entire life on. You can't build a personality on that. So I wanted to pursue a knowledge in much more than what's obtainable on YouTube. I wanted to have that face-to-face, do a bit of work, put my energy where my mouth is. So that's the entire idea behind pursuing a career or pursuing a degree in blockchain tech. And obviously, it's not just about the degree. When you pursue a degree in a magic field like this, this certificate that they give you is the icing on the cake, but the real cake is the connections that you make. You've got friends from Dubai in the space, friends from Iran, friends from Canada, friends from the US. You all meet at this place. And being the only school that offered the degree in the world at the time, which is why I chose to go there, it wasn't really much of a choice. That was the only school. Everybody was there. It was like a melting pot of cultures, melting pot of different people, different cultures, different fake systems, different everything, united by our love for this tech and for knowing more about it. So if you come into the space of people who specialize in blockchain architectures, they'll see us traders or investors or people who are only in it for the money as riffraffs. Right? They don't reach you. You may be richer than them, but they don't reach you because you will hardly be richer than them because they started the entire thing. But they think a lot more about what the space is, what it represents, what it can do as truly the next step in human evolution, or at least in the evolution of the internet, in the evolution of human transaction. They see for what it is. They are committed to making it better.
So you're one of the people that is I'm a need for the tech.
Yeah, we claim to be in it for the FT, or the more we claim to be, even though we're able into some coins that don't make sense, but we're in it for the tech.
When it's bear market, so I'm in it for the tech.
Well, when it's bull market, they don't even say I'm in it for the money. They just stop talking about it.
Just keep quiet.
And absolutely, the bear market is such a great time to build. Such a great time to build. Anything that's worthwhile is built in the bear market. Because in the bull market, everybody just enters for the money. Everybody's entering for the money. And even the people who built in the bear market just sit back. They don't mind the profits. So they sit back, enjoy the benefits of it. And in the bears, when the bears return, we build again. We keep building. I mean, look at what's happening with Solana.
In the CS return, we enter for the money.
We enter for the tech.
I got Solana at $16. It was beer.
I mean, I think the entire blockchain is, because we are saying that I won't, and this is a public podcast, I wouldn't say something like I think Solana is shit. So I wouldn't say that. I would never say that. I think that the entire ecosystem is, I mean, It's just my thoughts. I think that it's unhealthy for BCT in the long term, but right now we don't mind making the profits. But if it's about something that's profitable, there's a reason Ethereum is number 2, right? And even though Ethereum hasn't done any numbers, it's still cycle, still number 2. There's nobody challenging Ethereum, right? Things that are built on that blockchain, they will last. They will stand the test of time. And having somebody like Vitalik, who is an abnormal person, per guy, the future is so bright for ETH as a blockchain, not the crypto.
Do you think it's to see like 50k levels?
I don't think unless we see a world where hyper Bitcoinization is a thing, where fiat is maybe not completely replaced, but market share is taken by crypto to a very large extent, it's not plausible. I don't know if the supply for ETH is capped. Is it capped? But I know it's in the billions.
It's capped, just like Bitcoin.
It's capped. It's okay, maybe not in the billions, but I think it's over 100 million mites, right? So if you look at the tokenomics, I don't think that it's plausible, at least not in this market. A $50,000 Ethereum coin would mean some serious billions in market cap.
Yeah.
Not billion. It will probably enter into the trillions, right? In market. I don't have the exact numbers, so sorry. It's been long. I refresh my memory. It's where the bull. Scanning index winner in the scanning coin market cap. We're not really about that, but yeah. If we have to, it's just like saying, do you think we'll see a $1,000 Dogecoin? The supply is just so crazy. I bought 30,000 Doge in 2017, right? Before Elon I bought some coin, some crazy coin, and it wasn't calculated. My mind was, if this coin just hit $1, without even looking at the tokenomics of it. So it's like, when we consider these numbers, we consider supply against, implications of what the market cap would be. I think that it will just bring down our expectations a lot more. I mean, let's look at what's in front of us. When everybody is dumb, please be dumb. Especially in crypto. Don't try to be just the smart one, but everybody's aping. If it's money you came for, ape.
Don't try
to be over smart. You will not make anything in the market. That's how the market is. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. But in a few months, we'll be back in it for the tech.
Exactly, absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's talk about contents.
All right,
for a bit. So you mentioned you've been doing content for a while now. Before the Eric Gugua that we know right now, how did the journey start?
2012. I would say that everybody who posts on the internet is a content creator.
Yeah, true.
But there's a context. For when we now say content creator, we now have context in our head. If people who consistently post for the consumption of other people, and maybe even for some kind of maybe as a business. So I would say I started creating content officially. Started being intentional about growing my audience in 2012. That was on Twitter. I started posting obviously with text. Then after a while pivoted to BBM channels because it was converting more monetarily, right? It was converting more. Even though Twitter was profitable, but it wasn't as profitable.
Yeah.
Come 2015, 2016, my Twitter account was hacked. Lost that one at about 44k. Lost that. Obviously BBM shut down, right? So out in the cold, nothing, beginning life, starting, life afresh, in quote, at least on that side of my...
Yeah, and then, 64k was 44k then.
Come on, yeah. I was doing, some of the people I was growing with, but one of them is Africa Fact Zone, Isima, right? We grew our pages together. We grew our BlackBerry Messenger channels together. These are the people that, we used to do shout out, growing mutually. He's over 1 million now on. So if to say I know Lose Guard, because I lose that page to that hack based on my Lose Guard.
Oh,
right. I think you should be smarter than clicking random links. That's
what you did.
As an influencer. So I lost that. So it took a few years to find my feet again. I tried Instagram didn't work, went back to Facebook, was on Facebook for a long time. It didn't work. As a matter of fact, I had about 5,000 followers. So I used to run a blog. that I gave out on God's instruction, because he wanted me to do something with my face. And I was trying to be a little humbler than Jesus, right? In my being faceless and in my trying to, I don't want to protect myself, because sometimes some teachings that we consume as Christians, right? While they are healthy and true, there are extremes to it. That way you now try to be, you can try to be holier than God. You can try to be more conservative than Jesus was, right? In some of these things. So this balance, there needs to be balance. So God wanted my face. I wanted to be humble, right? And if your humility is contradicting God's plan for your life, it's not humility. It's rebellion. It's what it is. And God had to teach me some very hard lessons, right? Go through some needless pain just so I can agree to do what he wants me to do. And, here we are, a couple of years after saying yes, and it's beginning to pick up again, small by small. I know that if we had listened all those years ago, we would have been more than we are now, but it's never too late to begin again. So yeah, I moved to Facebook, did Facebook unsuccessfully with little success for about 5 years, thereabouts, and it was after I moved abroad that I started doing Instagram again, more consistently, pursued it with more vigor, and I'm glad it took off.
Tell us the story around getting back to Instagram again.
So I moved abroad. I was having a hard time abroad with the apartment where I was. I didn't have freedom. It was a much finer apartment. I think that was why I went. It was pricey, but I went there. I shared a room. I shared a house, not a room. I shared a house, but I couldn't film in my room all the time. I couldn't use the parlor because I was sharing an apartment with somebody who was quite influential in the space amongst Nigerians there. So the traffic in the house meant a lot of noise, meant it was not conducive. There were also some issues with the living arrangement and all that. It wasn't great, right? And it wasn't also a conducive time to move, because that was the winter. People move houses in the summer. You don't come in the middle of the winter. Everywhere is full. So, but God saw me through that. I moved out late January, got another apartment, and it was for me. I was alone. It was obviously more expensive, but I paid for it. I was alone, and because I had a lot of time on my hands, I was studying at the time. I had to be in school only a couple of hours a week. What was I doing with the rest of my time? So I decided to start content again, and because I had time on my hands, I wasn't doing any jobs, to survive. I had savings. I decided to do content again. This time, with more vigor, pursue it seriously. So I didn't travel with my camera because I felt like I had outgrown that camera. So no, I traveled with it, but I felt like I couldn't use it anymore because I had outgrown that. So I went on Facebook Marketplace, not an ad. If you want ad, you come. But I went on Facebook Marketplace. I met this photographer then, Greek guy, Renos Photography. I think we became friends, acquaintances at some point. Bought his camera, I think it was a 1,400 at that point. Bought the camera, simply got a good lens, about 800. I got a light stand, 110, just pick things up here and there. Basic things to start with. I traveled with my softbox, so I got a light not 8600. I think it was the Godox SL60. Just basic things. I wanted to have presentable picture at the very least, right? If you don't have the best background, the best everything, at least make your picture the entire eye small. Yeah. So got those things together. It took me a couple of weeks. It took a toll on my savings as well because I planned myself well. The money what I received to use buy camera, no the enter boss. I used to buy camera first. You understand? So I started again. And when I started again, and I started that consistently, because I wanted to hit it. I said to myself, I will do content every day for 1 year.
What's inspired that determination like that?
First of all, was the fact that there was a knowing on my inside that this is what I should be doing. I just knew, right? That's number one. Number two, I didn't have anything else to do. I think that one was even because if I was distracted, I think God brought me to a place where He stripped me of my distractions, right? And my focus was on one thing. There were many other things I could be doing. I could have chosen to get back into trading full time. I've got the skill set, right? But I decided while I was still trading, obviously, because there were bills to pay, but not as intensely as I used to, right? So I locked in. I really did lock in. I was everywhere, and as soon as you lock in, creativity is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So as soon as I locked in, first few days, I knew what was at stake. I wanted to do this every day. My conversations with friends in school, even things that people I see in church, things that happen in church, things that happen in your everyday life, things that happen in the past as well, became content. My mind could craft them into content. And that was pretty much how I started sailing consistently. And I guess the gods of the internet, in quote, the algorithm and all that, they saw what I was doing. So for me, Facebook, for instance, I had gained about 5,400 followers on Facebook after COVID, after a class I ran on COVID. During COVID, between COVID and 2023 February, I gained about 50 followers. 50 followers, about 50
in 3 years.
In 3 years, feel like between then. When I went back to Facebook, because I was focused on Instagram. I started doing Facebook again actively about last year. Between that last year, I believe, or late 2023, and now I've gained about 270k.
Crazy.
So it's crazy what you can achieve. And it's the same rules that cut across every brand of business, every kind of business.
Yeah.
You don't treat trading with less intention just because they say it's easy money. You will fail. And it's not your village people. You must give yourself to learn about it and be really diligent at it. The same kind of diligence the guy who has a shop in Alaba gives to his work. Give it to your work. You can't treat content as if it's what is there to do video, put on the internet. People will react to it. You will grow now. You can't treat it with that energy. It's somebody's full-time work, right? There are people who are building stuff, amazing things that I can't share for them on the internet, right? Building stuff around this content thing. They have a strategy. Tomorrow, people that are under them will start blowing one after the other. And you think they just turn on ring light and record. It doesn't work that way. Everything has a system. Some people may get lucky, right? But not everybody will be lucky enough to stumble on doing the exact things that lead you to success. Some of us will have to study, find out, seek out the patterns in the lives of those people who were successful enough. Patterns, it's all about numbers. Numbers don't lie. Compare what this person is doing to what that person is doing to what that person is doing. All of them success stories. What are the commonalities? Find the patterns. When the patterns begin to emerge, infuse them into your stuff. It doesn't matter what niche you find yourself in. Success is inevitable because you've put in the work to find out what the patterns are, and you've put in the work to also find out how you can replicate that pattern in your own niche with your own style, according to your uniqueness. Right? Your uniqueness is the spice that will bring your audience to you. To put that work in, you get the results. If you want to be careless about it, you can be careless about it. Show up once every month, take a long break, come back, do consistency for 2-3 weeks, take another long break, and then you say content didn't work out for you. No, you didn't work out for content.
Yeah. You guys have been
You come and after say, hi, hello, who missed me? Sorry, I had some things to do with. They will be happy for you. They will tell you, welcome. But it will not work out.
My next question is around your content style, basically. Is this the way you present now? Is it what you've always been doing with your videos before? Or is this something you figured, okay, this works, this is how to get attention.
Yeah.
Then let's explore how to do it very well.
I mean, there are different ways to get attention. One is mine is just one way. It's always been how I presented my content since I started making video content. I used to wear Ishago, right? With the Igbo carve, with beads. I used to wear bead on my hands. And I think God wanted me to get rid of those things, right? I knew it was going to work. It was God who gave me the idea. I went overboard with it. And some people know me from those days. A very few people know me from those days. And as soon as she took me abroad, while I was packing to go, space no day for my issue. God is very intentional. It's very intentional, right? Space no day. And I was like, I'm not really into content these days anyways. So I left it. And I left my bleed and everything. But I went with my accent because it's who I am. That's me. So when I started doing content again, all I had was the accent, right? From those days, I tried to have a bit of humor. Some people think I'm funny. I'm not really very funny, but some people think I'm funny. I tried to add a bit of humor, try to do the accent, try to not do the accent, try to infuse the accent. Also, I don't do that accent. It's my accent. I don't know why people... It's when I come on podcasts like this, I have to be proper. You get? That's me. That's who I am. That's how I talk. But people don't believe, and I'm fine with whatever anybody believes, right? So it's like I try to be natural, be who I am, right? Because I was always not trying to appeal to everybody. I always knew that everybody's not your audience. You will appeal to your people. They will gravitate towards you. I didn't want to just do it in Igbo because that will be very niche. And I believed that I was going to do a work that will cut across everyone. That people from Kigali, people from Nairobi, people from, different parts of Africa. I don't say I don't care about beyond, but yeah, people will resonate with what I'm saying because I would offer value to them. I didn't want to share those values in the way that only a set of people would understand that. So yeah, it's always been my brand, but it has also evolved. That's why I say be open to evolution, be open to learning, and who knows where your limit would be.
Yeah. And I think your delivery is amazing. So what's the science to that? How do you cook up a video in 1 minute, 10 minutes, and have different punches, and somebody watches a 1 minute video and like, this is great, share?
So usually you start from pretty much anything. It can be a point you want to communicate in, and then you add humor to it. It can be something that you saw online that you found very funny, and then you add a point to it, right? So these are already 2 USPs.
Yeah.
Right? For the non-tech people, it's a unique selling point. So I'd say already 2 USPs. I believe in a confluence of USPs. Have at least 3. Have at least 2. So that if people don't come for this, they will come for this. Right? If this doesn't grab attention, because the internet is an economy of attention. So it's attention. So you're looking to grab people's attention in the first 5 seconds. How do you start? Start off a video by saying, I want to show you a video. Now I want you to listen very carefully. You're building expectation. Ain't nobody gonna swipe after they have not seen the thing you want to show them, right? But if you start by saying something like, hello guys, my name is welcome back to my people. They don't know you yet. Right? Or you just start random. So I feel like people should be quite intentional, especially that would work on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? That would work on a long format video format. But on places like TikTok, on places like Instagram Reels that last for only 1 minute and everybody's attention span is so messed up. You want to grab attention. So it's all these different things that would encourage people to watch your video for, okay, let's give him five more seconds. These decisions are made very subconsciously. Let's give him 3 more seconds. So at every point, you are trying to find something that makes people stay a bit longer. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes sometimes it's unintentional, sometimes you stumble on it, sometimes it's something that you add very intentionally in your cooking. But yeah, I can't say that I go out to make sure that every 10 seconds I say something that's, but I try to make sure that I start well, that there's a strong hook, there's a strong bridge, there's a strong message, and at the ending, there's a bit of my brand in the ending, right? Your brand will bind your community together and all that. And I talk about that in my book.
That's bringing me to the book right now. Christians in
Content. Yeah.
What was the idea behind the title of this book? Now, we're going to definitely do podcast again, because there's a lot to talk about, but Eric has to run to the airport. So, what's the idea behind the title of the book, Christians in Content?
So it's not really written for Christians alone or for content creators alone. We create content every day here. The only people that we classify as content creators are the people who put their content on the internet. But every time you interact with someone, you generate content, you communicate it, they receive it. So it's more like, how do you come to a point where you are able to influence people with your content, right? And you're able to build a community of people, whether it's business community, whether it's to interact better in your space so that your views come to bear. It's a blueprint on how you can go from 0 to 100 when it comes to influence and communication, right? It's a masterpiece on storytelling which you don't only need for TV. You use every day in your life to drive your points, to sell whatever it is you're selling, because even the spreading of the gospel is the selling of Jesus, right? So but the reason I address this specifically to Christians, even though everyone can benefit from it, and I title it Christians in Content, is because these are the set of people that I believe we share the same values, and these are the people that I want to. Since we share the same values, I really need these people to have a voice, to be influential, to have communities. So this is my letter to Christians who create content and to everyone who wants to be influential. You have something to say, but you don't even know how to start. That's my letter.
Beautiful. So as we round up, I'm going to ask you 2 questions in one.
Okay.
What is one very important lesson in this book that you think everybody should know? And finally, how do they get the book?
All right. It's hard to find one lesson or more. Every chapter was written from the preface. There's depth. If you read them, you go crazy. It's not called The Beginner's Guide to Madness for the fun of it, right? But I think that one lesson that everybody can pick from this is that anybody, literally, for real, literally anybody. I thought you were skilled. I told my mentor, we're calling this The Beginner. He was like, what do you mean Beginner's Guide to Madness? What do you mean by that? But yeah, with a little bit of madness, everybody can attain to a great influence. With a little bit of abnormality. My conference in July is called Unconventional, The Road to Abnormality, right? With a little bit of unconvention, in quote, anybody can become seriously influential, and your voice will be seriously heard. And about where you can get the book, I'm working on putting it on Amazon, so you can get it from whatever part of the world you are in. But if you live in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Enugu, any of the cities that have been on tour, just send an email. We will send you a copy, right? But if you're looking to get digital copies, it's on Seller. My link is on my bio, Facebook, Instagram at Eric Gugua, Eric_Gugua, Twitter. You can get a copy for yourself from the link in my bio.
Beautiful. We're going to be giving away 2 copies of the book to people who watch this episode of this podcast. Caveats, people who are in Port Harcourt, I'm not going to pay no delivery fee. So, if you're in Port Harcourt, my question is, where did Eric live for the most of his life? You're paying attention to the podcasts. Where did he go to school? Finally, what did he study his master's? Alright, that's all. Leave a comment below if you want a copy of the book and you can answer these questions confidently. We'll pick 2 winners. I'll send you the book if you're at Port Harcourt. Alright guys, that is the much you can take onto this episode of the Entrepreneurs Connect Show. I'll see you when we come your way next time. Have a lovely day ahead and cheers.
That's how we used to be. Cheers.